Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today we're taking a look at SWAM VariFlute from Audio Modeling. It's done, it's so good, and it's pretty good price as well. So grab hold of your ankles, we're going to oge, baby, let's oge. Yeah. Hi there. What's going on? My name's Jade, and this is How to App on iOS, and I hope you're doing okay. Anyway, welcome to the show. I'm really excited about this. So we are looking at SWAM VariFlute today. It was actually, I was due to do this show last week, but what happened was Apple, being Apple, decided we're just going to hold this up and we're going to just reject it a bunch of times for no real good reason. So it finally came out on the weekend, I think it was, and now we have it on iOS, and it's a banger. Now, you may be familiar with other SWAM instruments. They've been out for quite a while. There's quite a collection of them, from flutes to already to brass instruments, to violins, cellos, the whole lot. There's a massive collection of them, and their biggest strong point is, well, they don't take up a lot of room on your devices because they use modeling technology. It's not samples, and and everybody is super keen to have less space taken up on their iOS devices. Let's say hello to everybody here. We'll get further into it. Hello, Thomas Christ and Leela. Thank you for the dump. Sean Chandler, hope you're doing well. Dude, what's going on? Jamie, dude. There you go. Hugh Caldwell, hello. Thomas says, banging links, these things. You can do these things. They definitely help the channel. You're not required to, but hey, if you do this one, $5 and above Patreons, and you got a chance to win some copies of this particular app that we're looking at today, because the developers that work along with me are very kind and supply codes to help out patrons who support me on this channel. You can also become a member. All right, let's get into it. So this is SWAM VariFlute right here. A little bit cheaper than everything else that SWAM has dropped. Normally they're about $20, $30 for the individual instruments. This one's $10. Banger. And now these are a part of a new series of SWAM instruments called the Discovery series. And I'm assuming, I don't take my word for it. Hello, Ed B. Metal. That there's going to be more of these come out. And you're probably thinking, well, hang on a minute, I've already got the SWAM flutes. What's happening? Aren't there already SWAM flutes? Yes, well, you would be right. Let's take a look at some of these. I just get myself out of the way. So you've got things like we've got the double bass, so we've got the selection ones, which are multiple, so the multiple piece instruments, the double bass and cello and the viola. So these are the section ones, yeah? And then we've got the Ambiente room simulator, which works with this one also. You've got things like the bass clarinet, the flute. You can see they're all like $30 on the side here. The flute, alto sax, bassoon, clarinet, English horn, baritone sax. There already is a flute here. And we've got a tenor sax, alto flute, a piccolo, a contrabassoon, oboe, soprano sax, cello, viola, double bass, violin, trumpet, euphonium, tenor trombone. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. French horns all the way down to a piccolo trumpet down the bottom. So there's already a huge number of these. But the thing is with all of these, as individuals, they are just one instrument. Yeah, so they're just one instrument, where the difference of these new discovery instruments is that you can change these VariFlute variations. So you can actually change the width, the actual thickness. That's what she said. You can change the thickness of the flutes, and you can change the length of them. I know there's going to be a lot of that today. And you can get different tones out of these flutes and change them from a certain type of flute to a recorder, to a wooden recorder, to a metal recorder. You can really just expand on the instruments with these discovery apps. Let's bounce quickly. So you know the price, $10. It's a good price. That's I'm sure lots of people are going to be happy with the price. We'll just jump over to SWAM. So SWAM got a relationship in with GeoShred. We're going to talk about that soon. You can also get SWAM instruments within GeoShred because GeoShred is pretty much an on-screen MPE. You've seen many shows I've done on that by Jordan Rudess. So here are there. These are also available on desktop as well. So don't think that this is just an iOS thing. But these are the Discovery. This is the first in the Discovery series. I'm expecting it's going to be a series. so there's all the information. I'm not sure how much this is on here it is. So if you want to get it, now this could be a trial price, this $10. I'm not sure. It doesn't say it anywhere on the App Store, so don't quote me, but it could go up. I don't know. Because here on the desktop version, it says it's down from $199 to $39. So that looks like a intro price to me. So again, I can't be 100% sure because it doesn't say anywhere on the App Store that it is that. All right, let's talk about also. So I mentioned that GeoShred have been tied in with the SWAM instruments for a long time. Yeah, so if you've got GeoShred, you can purchase the SWAM instruments within GeoShred and use them with that. But the SWAM instruments, let's just quickly tell you this. I'm jumping ahead of myself. We'll go search. I'll show you what's going on here. VariFlute. Here's one of the advantages. So the first advantage to using these over sampled instruments is that you can actually be expressive with them and use multiple ways to play these and actually sound like a real fucking flute. The other thing is this, 56 megabytes. I mean, it's the size of a fucking song of a 5-minute WAV file. That's it. So that's the beautiful thing because of the modeling, because we're not using samples compared to other apps that use samples and take up, sometimes a gig of your iPad storage. So there's that. Plus, there are multiple ways you can play this. You've probably seen breath controllers out there, which is like a little thing you can put in your mouth. It connects to a MIDI and you can plug it in. You can use these on iPad. I think one of the ones I was looking at last night, they're like, I don't know, 300 Australian dollars, so about $250. You can get some cheaper ones as well too. And you can actually blow to control the expression of these, so you're virtually playing a real instrument and just playing along with your fingers on the keys. You can use things like this, which I'll be doing today. This is a volume pedal, and you can set this up, MIDI learn this to the instrument, to the actual expression, and then you're not controlling the volume, you're controlling the expression, which we'll cover again. I've done many shows on these SWAM instruments, so if you want to go back, I do realize in the description I haven't put today links to all of the playlists, so I've actually gone ahead and done all the hard work for you. I have playlists for each style of SWAM instruments. So all the string instruments, all the brass instruments, all the woodwind instruments, they're all in playlists. I'll put them in the description after this show, even the collections and the ambiente and all that. And I've started a discovery playlist as well, just in case there's more of these to come. So you can use things like GeoShred as well. But let's just talk about GeoShred for a moment because it can get a little bit confusing before I give you a demo. So GeoShred, I'm just going to do a search here. If you don't know what GeoShred is, it's an amazing app made by Jordan Rudess. And there's a few different versions of it. I just want to clear this up so people aren't confused. This is GeoShred, the full version. It's $39. So don't ignore that. $39 is the Australian price. Maybe I should be doing it over here. So, let's do this because you don't want to see the Australian price. GeoShred. All right. GeoShred, the full version is $24.99. There are in-app purchases, of course. You'll need to buy SWAM instruments. There's a whole bunch of instruments you can buy, but it comes packed with that $24 with a whole bunch of cool guitar sounds and sitars and Indian stuff and all that. So there's heaps in there. You can also purchase instead the GeoShred Play for $10. but you will have to pay another unlock to get to the full GeoShred version. And there's also this, which is completely free. But what I need to tell you is, if you already have one of these downloaded and on your iPad, don't install this at the same time. It's either one of these or this, because this is just a controller. It has no sounds in it. It is mainly just, that's why it's free, just to use as a MIDI controller. But if you download both of them, like either GeoShred and GeoShred Control, one of them won't show up as an AEV3. It just won't, right? For some reason, that's the way it is. But if you own one of these two, you can use them as MIDI instruments as well, and not use the sounds won't register, right? But I'll show you this shortly. So yeah, GeoShred, if you don't have an MPE, you don't have a breath controller or any of this stuff, you can just use GeoShred. Let's jump in and play some of the sounds from this. I've got a little project here. We've got running Oversynth, and we got Analogy GR just to give some background textures. And I'm going to be using GeoShred to control the flutes, the VariFlute. Let's get this going. I'm going to just turn this on and we should get some sound coming through. Let's bring up sound. Alrighty, you get the idea, yeah? Let's come back over here. Who have I missed? Forest of the Wolf, hello to you. Dime Bag Coins, hello, hello. Okay, we've got a bit to go through, so let's just clear this out, and I'm going to show you we're going to show you the instruments, how the VariFlute, how it works, and I'm going to show you multiple ways to set this up and how to play it, because just playing it with no kind of expression doesn't sound good. It just doesn't, and that is all there is to it. So we're going to load... Get your head in the right place, Jade. So we're just going to create an audio track here. I'm going to create a MIDI track and just bounce that over there as well. Let's load up SWAM VariFlute, and I'll show you why it doesn't sound good, right? There's a reason. It's not because the modeling sucks. It's based around expression. That just is what it is. So I'm going to connect a keyboard over here. So I don't even have my keyboard on. So I've got my Arturia key step, which I'm connecting now. And over here, you'll see I've got this code 49. This is my other keyboard that's sitting over there. You can connect multiple keyboards to this. And I'm only connecting it because it's got a foot switch. It's got the volume switch on it. So here we go. And you're probably thinking straight out the bat, that sounds pretty good. It sounds like a flute. And sure it does. Yes, indeed it does. But it's where the expression comes in that makes it completely magical. Like this, it just sounds like virtually a sample, right? So it doesn't have that expression. You can't make it come alive and breathe and such. But you can do that with a foot pedal. So let's show you how to set one of those up. First, we're just going to jump into the MIDI controls up the top. So you've got multiple ways to play this. Let's start up here. You've got a different layout over here. So this is your play section, and it gives you an MPE. And you can see the way I play this now is I can go up because it's an MPE, and as I go up, we are getting vibrato, and you can see this vibrato moving up here, yeah? And I can drag so you get this keyboard in here. I've done many shows on this keyboard and how to use this. You can go in and change the vibrato depth. You can change it to the flutter tongue if you like. Instead of vibrato, you can come over here and say, make this flutter tongue instead. So you can now see the flutter tongue is moving when I lift up. You can make swiping it right. You can change this to whatever you want. You can assign to or have no assign. So now it's right. You can change however you like. Let's come in here and change the flutter tongue back to vibrato depth or vibrato rate. We'll go with depth. That's what she said. Right. So you've got these controls here to play around with. You can close this out. Or you have the keys down the bottom here. Right, so you can do that, or connect a keyboard. And you can see though, as I'm playing this, every time I'm hitting a note, we're getting velocity. So if I play this really lightly, you can see the velocity over here goes, and the louder I play it, the more velocity we're getting out of the keys, right? So that's standard fare, but this expression isn't moving at all. And as I lift it with my finger, you can hear what happens. And you get into the realm of like wrong notes. So this is the thing with expression, you can actually play this wrong. Like a real bloody flute. That's why it's so incredibly powerful. Right, so we've got let's just cover the stuff down here, then we'll get into MIDI controls, right? So you've got a flutter tongue down here. You can control this with your finger, just to show you my overhead. Now, all these can be assigned to knobs on your keyboard or wherever you want, yeah? We've got breath noise as well. So you can see when I hit the key now, there's virtually no breath noise. But if we turn it all up all the way, you can hear that as it's played. Now, if I bring the expression down, which you will hear better once we've got a controller attached to this. So you've got breath noise. We've got over here in this corner, this is a high frequency EQ. And over next to it, we have a high frequency boost. So you're able to get in here and really mess with the EQ of this, double tap anywhere to bring them back to their normal settings. Now, because my keyboard is connected, the vibrato is automatically selected to my mod wheel. So you can see as I lift that, you can see the vibrato is being controlled. That sounds a bit rude at the moment. Doesn't sound right, yeah, because we're not expressing. We've also got pitch bend here, and that is attached to actually my pitch bend on the keyboard. Right, so you can go bonkers. Hello, Rachel. Aloha. So velocity is controlled over here by this, how hard I'm hitting the keys. Hit it light. And you can hear it's not so much changing the volume of it, it's changing the tone of the actual breath that's being blown in here. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Hello, Ed Zielinski. Over here we have the aperture. Now, these are, you've got three kind of standard flutes in here, or pipes. Let's just call them pipes, yeah? This is our open pipe. The next one is a closed pipe, which is like a tin whistle, you know, the one with the whatever, with a slide, yeah? So the closed pipe with a slide, woo. And the third one is a closed pipe multi-pan, like a pan flute. So these are the three types of pipes that you have here. And if you keep flicking through them, they're your three pipes, right? So we'll start with the open pipe because you can really change the sound of these, the tone of these in such wonderful ways. So first we've got our aperture over here. Now this changes, see this, I'll zoom in a bit. See this little section here. Hello, Denise. Good to see you, Denise. See this little section here? That's the part where you're blowing into. And if I change the aperture here, you can see the hole tightening up. That's what she said. Right, and if I turn it all the way up, the hole gets bigger. And obviously, that's going to change the you know, these minor changes in there that to flute players, I mean, you know, I'm not a flute player, but I'm sure there's people out there who just, this is magical to them, right? And then we also have underneath the pipe length. That's what she said. And you can see by turning this, it actually moves across the keyboard and it gets shorter and longer. So here we are at the longest pipe. And you can hear there's like this the totally different tone. And now over here, it sounds more like a recorder. Right? Incredible stuff. Double tap and it'll take it back to where you want it, where it started off. Double tap. But we also have the material that it's made from. So here's where you can get really bonkers because, you know, it's very rare to find a recorder that's made of metal. Well, you can do that. And how can you tell where you're at with this? So if we turn this all the way down here, we're at, I'm pretty sure this is this wood? It's wood here. And the color changes up here to let you know. And as we turn this up, we get into plastic. And if we turn it all the way, it becomes metal. And in combination with the pipe length, plus we also have the pipe diameter down here. So you can see it getting thicker as I turn this up. This is what she said. So we've got a much brighter sound with this metal pipe at the moment. So let's quickly just go through. So this is the first pipe, yeah, the open pipe. Here's our closed pipe. So you should be able to hear the difference there. Changing, let's turn up the breath noise here. And you can hear that breath under there as well too, because all this is completely modeled and there's no instruments actually being recorded. This is the technology of audio modeling. We change the diameter here. So this is our closed pipe with the slide. And lastly, we've got our closed pipes, so our pan flutes. Now this is mono, so you can't really play chords with this, right? That's not going to work. You see when I hold down 3 chords, only one note is being played. So you get the idea of the controls here. Let's dive into some presets. Up the top here, we've got a menu which you can go to, which has a whole lot of places to go. Preset manager, resetting everything. So the tuning, because you can get right down nitty gritty and tune to your max. You've got a room simulator in here. You got control the mapping. You can lock parameters, import your presets. So if you've made presets, you can export those, send them to somebody else. Somebody else might send them to you. You can import and export stuff here. So not only just like a preset, you can import sound engines and MIDI mapping. So somebody may have mapped it to a certain controller and you want that from somebody, or you've made a beautiful setup with a breath controller. You can send that to somebody else. You've got some settings down here as well. Here's our preset managers. So you do have a bunch of presets. Let's start off by just going through them. But just to give you an idea of the sounds, the differences, I'm just playing the same notes. This is a classic flute, an alto flute, a bass flute. So you can see, like, just from one app, a pan flute low, a recorder alto, a recorder bass, we've got a recorder soprano, recorder tenor, shakuchak, however you say that, a slide flute, a tin whistle, and VariFlute. Okay, so all these can be altered and messed around, but these are your starting points if you just want to come in and jump into something specific, and then you can model it yourself. You also have the ability to MIDI map. And this is where you're going to come if you want to use something like GeoShred, because these MIDI maps here, the SWAM audio modeling, have gone ahead and given you a whole bunch of things that will work with certain things, like you can see in here with a breath controller, with a digibrass. These are all brands of expressive instruments, like wind instruments, like the Eevee, the UE default. We've got GeoShred. So there's actually one for GeoShred in here. You've got the Jam Stick, all these amazing controllers, just an MPE controller if you have one of those. You've got all this, the Seaboard, you got SWAM on-screen keyboard control. So these are all for you to come in here. A Yamaha YDS. So, but if you want to make your own, you can come in and make your own also. You've got things like micro tuning. So you've got all these different styles of tunings. It's very, very deep, yeah? I'm just going to come back here to reset. Let's just do a reset to default state. So now everything is back to where we started. Lovely jubbly. So also in the menu, let's talk about this controller mapping. So here you go. You can assign and MIDI learn. Let's do that first. Let's show you how to MIDI learn. So I'm going to hit MIDI learn, and it takes you to this section here where we've got templates. We've got a table. This is super deep, right? You can get so deep in here and change the curves of these things. So you can come into the expression, change the actual expression curves. It's bloody wild, the stuff you can do with this. But we're going to look at MIDI assign. So when you're in MIDI assign, you'll notice all these sections are now colored. And if I want to now attach my foot pedal to this expression, because currently, if I move my foot pedal, let's pick it up off the floor, it's actually, see that? I'm pushing it up and down. It's controlling the main volume, and I don't want it to control the volume. So first what we're going to do is now tap on this main volume. Let me put this back down on the floor. Tap on this volume, and now I want to unassign this. I don't want this assigned to anything, and we'll click out. And I want to assign now, so we'll go to MIDI learn. I want to put the pedal to the expression. And now I'm going to hit learn. And all I need to do is put my foot on the controller and move it. And now you can see I'm moving my foot, and this is controlling the expression, which allows me to do this. Notice I'm hitting a note, but it's not going anywhere. But as I push the pedal, this is where it gets super, super fun. So you can MIDI assign and you can unassign, reassign. Here's where you can change the curve. You can come into this now and you can mess around with the way the curve works in here. So you can drag this around. We can change the shape. This is just, next level stuff to how you want it to be. You can enable the curve. You can change it to a bipolar curve. You've got some examples down the bottom here. And once you're done, you're all happy. Just hit close. And now you can see outside of here, when I run my pedal, so pushing that pedal, see how it lights up and goes, changes color here? I'm probably going a bit too far there, and this is what I mean. You can play things wrong, right? So imagine this being breath controlled. So if you blow too hard, it's going to blow that out and you're going to play the wrong notes, much like you're playing a real instrument. That's what is so. And you can really control the tone, but also with MIDI learn. Let's bounce over here so I can show you. You can MIDI learn to anything. So I might want to add the flutter control here. I will click MIDI learn up here. I want to click on flutter control. Give it a second. It's ready to learn, and I want to learn it to this knob here on my keyboard. So I'm going to hit learn, and maybe. You ready? You want to learn? Try this again. There we go. So now that flutter control is controlled with this knob. So not only can I use the foot pedal down here, but I can bring in flutter at any time. And you can go in and, MIDI learn all of this stuff. You can go in and make the breath noise. You could add to this knob. You could add high frequency, the pipe length. You can MIDI learn everything here. But again, this isn't something that because it's modeling and you're using all these new pieces of tool or blowing into whatever way you're doing it or with a MPE, you've kind of got to learn to do it. It's almost like learning how to play a real instrument, yeah? It's not just as simple as playing samples and letting them do all the work. It is a high learning curve, but very, very rewarding to learn this kind of stuff. Now, with all of the SWAM apps these days, they have this room modeling here. And if you open up multiple instruments, say we'll open up, say, a violin, a SWAM violin. What have we got? Violin. I'll just do violin 3. And I'll connect this to the keyboard as well, just for the sake of it. Like so. And let's just go in and map this as well too. We'll do MIDI learn and expression learn. So that is now mapped to our pedal as well. So now we've got, and all of the SWAM apps work the same way, yeah? So you use the foot pedal for expression. Let's just take this out of here for a second so you can hear the violin. And you can hear when the volume, when the expression pedal's all the way down and I play, nothing's happening. They're just beautiful. But what I'm trying to show you here is with this, we have now, when I open up this little room position, you can see, because there's 2 of these connected, they work over like the local Wi-Fi of your iPad. You can now separate these instruments so they are playing across different areas of the room. Just bring that up. So now you can hear violin on one side. And I've covered these apps before. This is the Aviante. You can actually get the Aviante app by itself, which is just a room app. And what's cool about these, you're setting up a space. There's multiple spaces in here. You can choose like living rooms and studios. And this is adding natural reverb that has been modeled as well. So, I mean, so deep. It's really, really wild how deep all of these things get. And for $10 for this VariFlute, it's just... But let's bring this back into the middle. So there's our instrument 1. And you can see it tells you when they're overlapping and such. So that's back in the middle. And we'll close that. You also have a whole heap of settings. So we've gone through tuning. You can go into the room stuff here. So there's actually presets for the room. So small churches and garages and all this kind of stuff. You can come in and set those to your heart's content. Over here, this is where it gets stupid levels of customization, yeah? You've got the expressivity. Is that how you say it? Expressivity. And these are basically the dials that you can see on the outside. So you can bring down the expression here. So when I turn this up, see how it's down completely? The expression's all the way down, and when I play, let's give it a bit of volume. Now I've got a lot of breath noise in there. You can take out the noise. You've got things like expressivity. You've got vibrato depth, so you can turn this right up. You can control the vibrato rate. So it's slower. We can take it all the way up here. You've got full control over all this stuff. The flutter tongue. The reactivity. Overblow, the dynamic sensitivity, the dynamic pitch, all this kind of stuff. I'm just going to choose a different instrument here. Just give us a sec. Now, one thing you need to be aware of when you're changing presets, let's choose this. What do we go with? We'll go with a recorder. We have to go with a recorder because you know the deal. Sound recorder. It's going to ask us to load the preset. So we'll replace the room with the one that comes with it. So all these patches come with their own lockouts, right? They come with their own MIDI mapping. They come with their own micro tuning. They come with their own room. So just remember that when you're changing presets around, yeah? So now if we come out of here, is my Yeah, see, it's retained my foot switch. Beautiful. So in here, we can choose your instruments from here, but a lot of this stuff you can actually get to down here, right? So you can flick through these over here, or you've got play mode, so you can choose your closed pipe, your multi-pipe. You can change the hole size from here as well, the portamento control, velocity to MIDI mapping, portamento time. You can change the timbre here, so the breath noise. It's so bloody deep. It is just ridiculous. The breath hiss, the pipe length, all of this stuff can be controlled through here. The amount of compression you'd like on here. The high frequency, so this is controlled from here as well. Pitch, let's talk about this. So you've got a master tuning. You can actually go in and do micro tunings. I know, right? It's a lot to take in. And of course, I'm not going to get through all of this today. I've covered it in depth with other apps. They're pretty much the same kind of thing. But we have here, we're currently set to natural overtones. If we change this, we can go to glide. So how does this work? On our keyboard, we can glide. It always makes me laugh, that sound, for some reason. Or we've got natural overtones. So you can play it like a keyboard. You've got pitch, bend, range, transposing, and advanced section here, which has a whole bunch of MIDI stuff. So you can set it to MPE. You can change the note velocity off, the attack, it's just wild. So I am skipping through a lot of this today because I've covered a lot of it in other demos. You can change the room ambience in the rooms and stuff like that, because I want to show you how to a few different ways to control this. That's why I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. So let's talk about GeoShred. First, I'm going to kill this and load up a copy of GeoShred, because as I said at the start of this, GeoShred for a lot of people is going to be one of the best ways to play this if you're using an iPad. If you don't have an external keyboard or a foot controller to do this, or a breath controller, GeoShred's a really great way. As I said, the controller is free. I'm not using that previously, as I mentioned, but what I'm going to do is just load up GeoShred. And the beautiful thing about GeoShred is it is virtually a touchscreen MPE, right? You can play. Now, there's no sound coming out of here at the moment, and I'll show you why. Let's pick one of the SWAM instruments out of here, like the flutes that you can buy for GeoShred. And you can see with this, what's beautiful about this is it's all expressive. So as I start low, it's working like the foot controller. And when you wobble, there's your variation. And there's flutter control as well in here. You can use the vibrato just by dragging. There's flutter enabling. So when I drag up, the flutter is, you've got overblowing, right? So this is one of the flutes that you have to purchase with GeoShred. But let me show you how to use this as a controller. So I'm just going to remove this from here, and we're going to put it in this slot over here as a MIDI controller. So I'm going to grab GeoShred from here. So now, if I play anything in here, there's going to be no sound. It's still set to the GeoFlute, but there's no sound because it's a MIDI controller at this point. So how do I get this to work with the SWAM VariFlute? So there's a few things you'll need to do, and one of those is to come over here, click on, up the top here, GeoFlutes, scroll to the bottom, and you want to look for MIDI out. This now changes it to a MIDI out controller, and you've got all these presets here, which we're going to look for. Obviously, it's going to make sense. We're looking for MIDI out iOS SWAM. Now this is ready to go. All I need to do is send out from here, output to our flute, our VariFlute, and that's being sent out there. But the next step is we need to come to our VariFlute, and let's just come over to our menu. We'll jump out of this, and we need to use one of these presets. So controller mapping. We're going to go templates, scroll till we get to GeoShred. There it is right there. And now we are good. We should be good to go from here. So if I bounce now over to here, but when I tap it, I'm not getting that full length. That's what she said. Turn on the finger expression and look. Modulation, flutter. You can control the expression up here as well. Beautiful. So you can control this very easily with the GeoShred. And you can see it playing over here. Let's make this one smaller. We'll make it a bit bigger so we get out of this screen. Let me do it. Just so you can see that it's actually being played. Now let's open GeoShred, make this small. And you should see the notes being played here. And you can see that expression go up as I... So a really good way to play this, that is your expression using GeoShred. And you can do GeoShred with all the SWAM apps, like the violin, saxophones, whatever you want to do, you can do it this way. As I've said, remember, GeoShred is free, but you've got to download the GeoShred controller. It's called GeoShred Control. It's free. But don't have both of them on your iPad. It fucks everything up. If you've got GeoShred Play and GeoShred Control, they just clash with each other and don't really work that well. It is just beautiful. So I'm going to, we'll keep this running at the moment, just to, let's add a little bit of reverb to this, some kind of reverb. Of course, we'll add this. Because you can add effects to this. It's an AEV3. And the other thing, while we're here in GeoShred, just so you know, you can come in here. This is set to a C major scale. So just so you know, these are obviously the off notes in the scale. You can come in here and come in and say, where are we? Settings. I think it's in settings. You can change all this stuff in here. So you can change the root. We can change the scale. There's heaps of scales, right? Lots of Indian scales and stuff. We've got Western chords, Indian. Let's just grab one of these. We can change the root to, say, a E flat. And now we've got this beautiful Indian scale in here. Right? So you're not going to fuck up. That's the beautiful thing about GeoShred, isn't it? Because you can set scales, you can see which ones are lit up, which are the right notes. You can't really fuck it up. Wicked. Now, lastly, the last thing I want to show you for this is you can do this also as a standalone. So let's use GeoShred as a standalone with VariFlute as a standalone. So we'll close out of this, for those who may want to do it this way, yeah, you may want to do it this way and not use it as an AUV3. It is extremely possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to open a copy of VariFlute, like so. So this is our standalone version. And I'm now going to jump out of this and open up GeoShred. So we'll do a search for GeoShred. Wait for this to load. So it's basically the same setup. You're going to want to come in over here, set this up to MIDI out, come over here and set this to MIDI out iOS SWAM. So we've got our still not playing anything, right? Then if we jump over to our standalone version of VariFlute, all you need to do to make this work is come down to settings, and you've got this section called About, and see this, Enable Virtual MIDI Ports. Turn that on. It'll say you need to restart this. So shut VariFlute like so, reopen it, and now come over here to your mapping, and we're going to choose GeoShred, same as before, and now open, back to GeoShred. You can change the octaves. So you can do this as a standalone as well, yeah? Just so you're aware, or as an AUV3 as we showed you. Beautiful stuff. It really is just, you know, another winner. I'm looking forward to, hopefully, if they release more of these, that would be really cool. I think we're done for today. I think you get the idea. Yeah? Yeah. Awesome. So what was the price again? I can't remember. Now, again, I'll remind you that I have no idea if this is an intro price. It could be. Could be. But $10 at the moment is pretty good value for this, especially when you've got, what, 3 other flutes that are available for $29, and you're getting, like, the ability to go in and manifest your own kind of flutes, be it even flutes that don't even exist with metal bodies. And so $10, there it is. Thanks, Thomas, for banging that in here. Now, speaking of Thomas Christ, he is up next, and he's got a new show. He's got The Hang happening. And we're all going to hang out with Thomas for an hour. And if you are a member here on this channel, you can join me after Thomas. And I'm going to be wrapping up my Metheus track for this year. If you didn't know, let me do a bit of housekeeping. So yesterday I wrapped up my track with Liz a Day. And guess what, my friends? Guess what? The premiere is happening on the Friday Fun Chain. The Friday... whatever it's called. So there it is. You might want to go and set a reminder in 3 days' time. Liz a Day and Jade Starr got this. We're ready to go with this. It's up as a premiere. Super excited. We're going to have it available on Bandcamp by the time the premiere happens. We've got the album artwork sorted as well. I don't know if Liz is doing her own album artwork for her version, but here is the album artwork. Look how daggy that is. It's so bloody daggy. I love it. Get these weird people dancing together. It just feels right, this piece of artwork from some old lost footage. So that is happening, but today I'm going to finish, hopefully, my Metheus track. We're going to get James Coldacre's guitar solo in, and I'm going to wrap up the vocals. We'll probably do a mix and master, fix some of the drums a little bit, and then Songtember is over. Even though it's October 1st here in Australia today, it doesn't matter. So hopefully you're doing well with your Songtember stuff. That's it for today. That is VariFlute. What's going on tomorrow? I'm desperately scanning my iPad right now because I can never see the images of what I'm supposed to be doing tomorrow. I can't again. Oh, yeah. We're taking a look at this tomorrow. Soul Play. It is just beautiful. These are for Soundbox by Compose Audio. These guitar sounds are just chef's kiss all the way. That reminds me, this week's interview is with our dear friend Andrew Fly from Cinematic Alpha. Cinematic Alpha's just dropped a brand new sound pack as well, which is bonkers good. So we're probably going to be talking about that on this interview coming up. The Friday Fun Train kicks off after Valerie Butt with Fourth by K Devices, and that will lead into our premiere with Lizard Day, and the Friday fun stuff. And the last thing I'll tell you that is going on, there is no creative hour this week. Instead, we are doing a Songtember opening hour. I'm going to sing a whole bunch of Songtember songs that I have written over the last 5 years and released, and some stuff I've played drums on as well too. So hopefully you can come and join us for that. And then that all coincides later that night with Pete John's YML and the big Songtember double episode stuff. Okay, let's get out of here. Thanks to Audio Modeling for sending me codes and getting me involved in this, letting me be on the beta, and to be able to give giveaways to my Patreons. We'll see you over at Thomas Christ and see you back here for the members show. You know what I'm going to say? Let's freaking ode.